Hey folks, in this video you're going to learn about selection techniques to speed up your digital coloring process in Photoshop. If you find value in what you learn, please consider subscribing to the channel and dropping a like on this video. This will allow me to help other digital artists level up their digital art game. And with that, let's get started. So I have line art here for a Transformers piece that I was working on yesterday, and I wanted to share some of my coloring techniques that really speed up my workflow. And the key here is when you're dealing with multiple characters or multiple objects within a composition, I find it helpful to keep each object on its own layer. So you can see that I've got each of the characters on their own layer. And what I'm going to do next is simply isolate the character that I want to work on by hiding the other layers. So in this case, I'm going to be working on Optimus. And what I like to do is I like to make sure that I've got all the gaps closed. And I can see here that there's a gap that I need to close here on his thumb, so let's go ahead and do that. And there's going to be some other objects here that appear to be open. We'll just go ahead and close that. And now what we're going to do is we're going to use our magic wand tool, keyboard shortcut W, and if you don't see that, it might be in the pull-out menu over here. So I'm going to use the magic wand tool, and I want to make sure that I have the tolerance set to 60, and that all of these other items, the anti-alias, contiguous, and sample all layers, are going to be checked. With that in place, what I'll do is I will use the magic wand tool and select everything outside of the character. And I can see that there are three basic regions here that I'm going to select. So I've selected everything outside of Optimus and Laserbeak. Next, what I'll do is I'll make a brand new layer underneath Optimus. I will then select a color. I'll just choose the fire truck red, and I will fill that in. And what I really want to do is I want to fill in Optimus. So in order for me to do that, I need to hit Shift Command I. That inverses the selection. And if I now use my Option Delete key, you can see that it fills the entire character in. And there are certain parts that are not quite filled, so I'll touch those up with my brush, like so. So what this allows me to do is it allows me to now isolate the colors for a specific character very easily. So if I wanted to now color Optimus, for example, everything related to this character I can build from the base. I can hit Command J, Command U, dial in a specific shade of blue, and work my way up to coloring Optimus to his finished results. But the big advantage here is that it allows me to select each character in isolation so I can focus on just that character. For example, if I wanted to now select Shockwave, what I can do is I can toggle off all the other layers except for Shockwave, so I'll hide everything else, and you can see that I have a gap at the bottom here. Now, what you can do is you can temporarily create just a line just for selection purposes, and when you're done with it, you can always delete it. So in this case, I'll just close the gap. I'm going to use my magic wand tool, select everything outside of Shockwave, and then I'll hit Shift Command I to inverse the selection. I'll make a new layer underneath Shockwave, and in this case, what I'll do is I'll pick a purplish color because that's the color that he's known for, and I'll fill that in. And once I'm done with that, then I can always get rid of that extra layer. So you can use that as a way of closing your gaps temporarily, but leaving those gaps open if you want to do that for your artwork. So now let's take a look and see what the results are of what I have so far. So I'll toggle all the other layers on. So you can see all of Shockwave's colors are isolated. So if I wanted to continue working with Shockwave, I can hit Command J from the base color layer, and then I can dial in the yellow for his face, and I can continue to color him just like I'm doing right now. So I can go ahead and add shading, etc. So this is a very, very powerful technique. So just to review, you keep all the colors associated with the character together, so it allows you to easily group those colors. Second, you have a base color selection that allows you to add textures and other effects. For example, if I wanted to bring in some textures over Optimus, let's just say that I finished coloring Optimus, I can go ahead and bring in, say, a reddish texture, I'll hit enter. I'll move this texture right over Optimus and move it like so. And if I now command click that base color layer, that cherry red layer that contains that entire selection, I can go back to my texture. I can hit command J, and that isolates that texture on its own layer. And from there, what I can do is I can use overlay, or I can use soft light. I can use any one of these other effects to get this really nice, like maybe vintage type of look. You can see that that has some effect on the color underneath by making it more muted. So very, very powerful way of working. I use this technique a lot, especially when I'm dealing with multiple objects in my composition. If you found this tip to be useful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you'd like to see more videos to help you level up your digital art game, why not have a look at some of my other videos? As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.